So we're going to start off with some product updates. First of all, we'll just launch in and then we're going to introduce our special guests a little bit later. So here in the presentation, we want to first congratulate Chick-fil-A in what all you guys are doing. You're dominating in the industry. Currently, Chick-fil-A is selling more chicken than the next 5 leading competitors combined. So you guys are killing it and doing a fantastic job. And we're privileged to be a part of this and to support you in the ways that we can. We also want to mention that we are super proud of our founder, James. He started this when he was 16 years old, working in the Ammon, Idaho store. And he's now 23. And he was recognized just last week by the Utah Business Magazine for being one of the 20 movers and shakers in their 20s for being able to put this together and the growth that we're experiencing. We're super proud of him, and we're going to turn the time over to James to kind of show what we've been up to for the last year.
So this is an overview of the accomplishments that we've done this year, different features we've released. You can see them placed on a timeline. We are going to go a little bit, we are going to go into more detail about all of these. In Q1, we released custom shifts, mobile apps, and layout revision history, as well as accountability features. In Q2, we released advanced checklist input. In Q3, we released the passports with the Pathways 2.0 integration, and I got married. And then coming up in Q4, we're coming out with 2 new releases, messaging and a new enhanced user experience. And so we're excited to review what we've done and then look at what's coming next. And we'll start with the custom shifts. So before custom shifts, you would have to make adjustments in hot schedules before you could see anything in OneClick. And so with the custom shifts feature, you're able to add new people to the schedule who maybe are coming in to pick up a shift, or maybe they're staying longer or leaving earlier. And you can make all those adjustments and edits inside OneClick without having to go back in the back office to hot schedules where that's a lot less convenient, especially for the leaders on the fly. So that's been really helpful. And we'll jump now into the mobile apps. Our system is now available on the App Store and Google Play. And so people can search for OneClickApp and download it and install it and have it on their phones, which is a great convenience for the leaders and team members who like to use this every day. Layout revision history was a special request from Chick-fil-A Cedar Hills in Texas. Shout out to them. It helps emphasize the accountability of who's making the adjustments to the layouts. And so it timestamps when the leaders are moving people from different positions. It allows you to see if things change. It also allows the leaders to be held accountable. So you can say, like, dude, did you do this 2 days early? Did you do it last minute? Or did somebody go back and change it after you did it? And you have those logs to see what was going on and what was happening. We also released advanced checklist input types. So now when you make these checklists for team members to complete, you can have them take pictures of the cleaned finish. You can have them support numbers. For example, if you want them to collect the number of salads in the fridge or the temperature of the coolers, you can have them type short answers or long answers, have them sign a signature submitting, signifying that they completed it. Or drop-down answers, or lots of different things. And it doesn't mention here, but these advanced checklist input types are also made available in the passports. So as you're designing the passport, the training program for your passports, which are coming up next, they also support all of these advanced options for whatever kinds of creative things you might want to be collecting in the process. We also released an accountability point system, customized infractions and consequences, so that your leaders can share in the system and pool their knowledge of who is coming in late or calling out or not wearing their uniform properly. And it keeps the history for at least 2 years. And then also sends the emails the individual an email letting them know that they were recorded and written up, And this really provides a basis for a conversation between the team member and a leader. So the leader has full information from all of the different shift leaders. There may be multiple, so that the director has all the information when they're having the conversation, and they have the logs and the history to see really the extent or the lack of extent or whatever it may be as they're evaluating individuals on a case-by-case basis. The passports were a really fun addition. They look like the checklists, except that they're based around people. And so they feature the people's training progression in the store from their first day when they're hired all the way up to be a shift leader or a trainer or a shift leader later on. It's integrated with Pathways 2.0. So those links down there take you right into Pathways to watch the training videos. You can track the progress, you see the timestamps of when they complete it. And it also features integration with the training programs. So we can see the ratings they have in the different positions and change those as they progress or as they progress and get better. We have all of that in this nice passport system. Super helpful. Now, before I go on to this next one, let's actually go back. And we have a poll we're going to send out. So if we can trigger that poll, it basically asks you which of these features you like and which of these features you're going to use. So why do you send those out? I'm also going to put out a question to consider, which is, are you interested in using any of these features, or how have you already seen these features we've released make a difference in your store? And while I let you think about that question, I'll share a story. So we heard, and this, I'm obviously a secondhand account. I'd rather hear it from you right after this. But we heard from one of our customers that when we released the accountability system, they started putting in infractions every time somebody came late to the shift. And that was a frequent occurrence for them. There were lots of people coming in late. And so they just put in the infraction, and they didn't go into a lot of detail about how they did this. But then OneClick was sending the employees these emails. And so the employees were getting an email saying, dude, you were late, and look out, you were late. And we know that you were late. And so in the first week or two after they started putting in these infractions in OneClick, they had given out so many infraction points. There were a lot. And there were so many. And so they actually came back and said, hey, can you help us clear out all the infractions? We did this to our employees, but they've changed and their behavior changed so dramatically. We need to just reset the board and clean it out. Because now they've learned and they saw what we were doing, and now they're actually just coming in on time. And so we reset the points, and that mechanic of telling and giving the employees the feedback really helped inspire and motivate them to change their behavior. And now they don't have that problem in their restaurant anymore.
All right. So we're super excited to announce that we've got our development team working really hard on a redesign. Here's some previews of what that's going to look like. The underlying functionality, we've always had a very reliable, robust app with a clean, it works well, super functional, but we've had feedback that it didn't look as nice as it could. And so we're upping our game, and we've got this new design that's being implemented. You can see both on this right side, this is what it'll look like in mobile view, and on the left side is the desktop view. Team's working really hard on that, making great progress. We're super excited. And then also we're working hard on a messaging feature. Over the past couple of years, as we've had these webinars where we've been talking to our customers, we've heard over and over that communicating with your team, direct messaging, whatever, there's a number of different solutions, and it seemed like there was room for improvement. So we are working on this, and there's a few different functionality that I'd like to describe that is capable. We've already got some beta working, a beta system that's kind of in play that we're testing internally, and we're getting close to where we're going to invite others to try it out. But I'd like to get some input from you guys as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the functionality that we're potentially offering here. You're able to subscribe leaders to or create channels that are tied to specific leadership levels. So like shift leader, for example, as soon as someone gets promoted to be a shift leader, they're automatically subscribed to the shift leader channel and they can communicate with each other. You can choose which different leadership levels are subscribed to the different channels. And then as they move through, they're unsubscribed, they can leave or join the channels based on their leadership role. When they leave the restaurant, they automatically don't have access. So it manages the subscription, desubscription automatically. You don't have to worry about doing that in a third-party system. That's one of the capabilities. Also, an ability to create like a direct message group with multiple people. You can rename it after a project, for example. Like if you're just a group of 3 or 4 leaders, team members are working on a specific project, they can create a group within the chat, the messaging portion of OneClickApp, and call it update the menu board, whatever it's going to be. And then they can communicate about that. Additionally, we've heard some requests that it would be really nice to be able to send out a message and know whether anybody got it or not. So we're going to think about the name for this, but right now we're talking about a super pager message that basically would take over the OneClickApp front and center, and it requires everyone to interact with that and acknowledge that they've received the message. It might be a notification of the meeting, the monthly meeting, or a sale that's going on. It's anything that's really important. You can choose to have that message be a mandatory message that it interrupts their use of OneClickApp until they've acknowledged that. And then potentially even a report of which team members saw the message and which ones didn't see the message. Maybe they don't have the app downloaded and they didn't see it, but you can get a report of all your team members who has interacted with this and who hasn't. Additionally, we're aware that one of the pain points of some of the messaging systems that are being used out there is that there can be a lot of different channels, and you got to catch up on each channel by drilling down into each one to see which messages you haven't read. And we're considering a home view that would show all the messages, all the unread messages across all your subscribed channels just in one view. So you don't have to go in and out of a bunch of different ones, but you can just kind of scan down through, see all the activity that happened since you last read it, and get an overview of the current status in all the subscribed channels. It would show your followed threads and unread conversations, and then you could open up a conversation directly from that home view or reply without having to go down into that channel. Answers? So we've got a question from Alex that says, for the custom shifts layout or passport revisions, can we set which leadership tiers have authorization to make the changes?
I can tackle that one.
Go for it.
So the answer to that one is yes. OneClickApp is very customizable, and the permission tiers, we have access to control all of who has access to which things. So you may want to allow some tiers of permissions to be able to edit the layouts and other ones to be able to like send the breaks, or some people to be able to edit the passports and other people to only be able to manage the passports either for themselves or only, like if you're a trainer, you can do the passports for the team members below you, but you can't do the shift leaders above you. And OneClick has the capability to do all those kinds of different configurations. And you can send us an email at this QR code that's on the screen to have those adjustments made.
Excellent. And then the next question is from Sarah. Will we be able to toggle from English to Spanish in the app in the future?
I guess I'll tackle that one. The answer to that is yes. In the future, that will exist.
Yes, we are working on adding that capability, multi-language support, so that it'll support, depending on who's interacting with it, it will natively show in their language. Okay, another question. Will there be a way to connect checklists and tasks to roles in the near future? So I'd love to hear more about that use case. And Travis, I've opened up your microphone if you want to jump on and talk. I'd love to hear what you have in mind for that and how that could benefit your organization.
Cool. Thank you all for putting this on, by the way. And I'm honestly not super technical, so you kind of explained some of it already to me through the passport feature, which I haven't explored so much. But yeah, I'm looking at ways just to automate checklists, processes, tasks as much as possible without having to drag and drop um, assignments based on personnel. And so, yeah, if there's a way to connect like an opening checklist for a shift leader, uh, either position, I think that kind of answers it versus the role. We typically will have a director during the morning and during the evening, at day and during the night, and they have their own processes their own checklists that they manage, and we have all these different places that people manage checklists and transitions and things like that. But I'd love to have it more based on position or role versus kind of dragging and dropping from who's been assigned or who's available from hot schedules, if that makes sense.
So I think I'm hearing you say that for checklists, sometimes instead of having to manually assign the checklist to a person that's on the shift, it would be more convenient if it automatically gets assigned to, like, the shift leader is automatically responsible for certain checklists that you've created. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Travis? That's a fantastic request, and we'll make a note of that. So thank you for that.
Thank you all.
All right, we've got another question from Alex. Our store has been using passports for promotion training from team member or trainer to team leader. It's been a great tool as a personal checklist of growth and proactive development. We've had great trainers and team leaders from the process. So it sounds like the passports are already helping you out, Alex. We're super happy to hear that. Another question. We have personal checklists that we'd like to keep private, a personal improvement plan for just the team leader and none of the other team leaders. Will there be a way to allow certain leaders viewership activity and not others? Can they be restricted? Do you have any thoughts on that, James?
Yes. I hadn't thought of this use case before, but the idea of having some passports or really a passport that's private and separate from the mainstream one everybody does makes a lot of sense. And so we have this now. We're going to take this idea and keep it in mind. And we will work towards that kind of system because that makes a lot of sense, and that should definitely exist.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you for that input. All the input is really good. We're trying to respond and give you exactly what you need. And then from Tamara, is there a way to look back and review checklists from previous days, weeks? Is there a report that we can pull for the month or even the previous month, who completed what and what did not get completed?
So there's two questions here. One, is there a way to look back? And two, can you pull a report? One, yes, you can look back and review the checklists from previous days and weeks. I thought, the way to do this is the same way you look back at the previous layouts. But yes, it is possible to view the previous checklists from yesterday or the day before. By default, you have access to up to a week of. Oh, thanks. You got it. So this is a demo store, and so it's all empty. We don't usually drag and drop the people on the demo stores. But just like that is showing, you can go up to today and switch that to yesterday or last week.
So another thing to note is that by default, it's only showing, like, you can only go back a few days into the past, but we can change that setting in your account and allow you to access a month back if you want to be able to go back into previous days for a longer time period. Just submit a ticket to support and they can make that change on your account. So I don't see any other questions right now. We're grateful for your time. Thank you for your input and for helping to make OneClick a success. And also, we see this as an opportunity to, this is a privilege to work with an organization with the values and the commitment to excellence and the commitment to making a difference in the world that OneClick has. And we see ourselves in a unique position where we're able to basically be a pollinator of some of the best ideas. And we've seen that the highest performing stores across the country are being drawn towards OneClick and using that as a productivity tool. And they're sharing the systems and that have been put in place and that they've worked out. And in many cases, the systems are very robust, and they're being used to develop team members and so forth. But in some cases, there's a lot of tedious work that has to go into tracking the implementation of the system. And our goal is twofold. One is we do not want to replace the human interaction, but we want to support the human interaction. We're trying to provide touch points and accountability to help keep track of the conversations that are happening, the actions that are taking place, so that there's visibility throughout the entire team that things are being followed, but that you're be able to put in that human touch and that connection that the leadership team needs with the team members, so that they're being developed and they're growing. And also, in order to succeed, like for a shift leader to succeed and throughout the entire organization, we want to, our ultimate goal, and we're making steps towards this, is to surface the right information to the right person at the right time so that they can make the best decision in support of their operator to move the restaurant forward. And so part of that means cutting out the clutter. Like, we don't want to inundate and overload with too much information. We don't want things to be tedious and to create extra work. But if the right information can be presented, we're confident that the technology solution that we're offering is in a position to dramatically enhance the efficiencies and the work-life balance and the overall job satisfaction that your team members can have, because they're spending more time serving each other, serving guests, and less time practicing handwriting and other skills and tedious things that are less beneficial overall. So we're coming up on the time that we've allocated. We're super grateful, and I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up.